Welcome everyone. So my story here today is to talk about a little bit about OutSystems and what social security has achieved with OutSystems. So first of all, so this is about building the longevity. I'm going to follow my slide from here because I can't see what I'm presenting otherwise. Um, so one of the biggest challenges in the market is how companies actually go to market with their digital strategies, right? So this is a number that is quite an interesting number that came out about a couple of years ago by one of the analysts called Forrester. And what it means is that there are more than 70% of the applications that will be developed within the next 3 to 5 years will be delivered using some form of a low-code platform, which basically means that you can start addressing the challenges that you are facing today. And those are predominantly around the skills gap, the backlogs that you have, as well as the explosive demand that is coming from the market. So to give you a good story, so I have my nephew who is much younger than me, obviously. He just changed jobs 3 times in 1 year, simply because the fact that they are born with these devices on their hand, and they are not happy with the fact that how employers are actually positioning applications in front of them. So they constantly change. And these guys don't stay in the same job simply because the fact that they want things to look the way they interact today in the market, right? So as any organization, whether you're a buyer or a supplier, you need to be able to make those demands and meet those demands. And that's exactly what OutSystems enable organizations to do. So it allows organizations to differentiate from what you already provide in the market, and also to be able to gap that skills gap. There is about 30 million developers to 1.2 billion business users across the world. So imagine the demand those developers are asking, the asking demand for those developers. So in the US, for example, a graduate will ask the moment they come out of the graduation 100K for a developer job, right? So that means that not every organizations are able to fulfill this. So that's where OutSystems, platforms like OutSystems come into play. But one of the things that is quite interesting is that when we talk about automation, so we believe that software automation is one of the last industries that hasn't been tackled in the market. Everything is getting automated, but we still write code, lines and lines of code in foreign language that nobody understands, right? So when we talk about automation to developers, they immediately think that, hey, my artisan craft is being replaced by a cookie cutter. Actually, what we are trying to do is we are giving developers far more power to innovate and to deliver bigger business values to the organization, so they can lift much higher complex scenarios in the organization and delivering that way. So that's why we do what we do and who we are. So we are across nearly 87 plus, I think now nearly around 90 countries. We fulfill industry needs of more than 22 plus industries across the world. They go from government, predominantly government, to fintech, finance tech, insurtech, manufacturing, construction, shipping, you can name it. We are there, telco, utilities, we are everywhere, right? So councils and cities across the world are utilizing OutSystems very heavily to fulfill the needs of the constituents as well as citizens. But imagine government organizations trying to keep the best skill sets in-house, right? They get snatched up by the best IT company that is going to pay you the biggest buck, right? So what we do is we enable organizations to be able to fulfill the business needs without needing that expert skill set. And if you have the expert skill set, their productivity goes 10x. Whereas with a citizen developer that has a technical acumen, they will be able to achieve kind of, maybe 4x productivity than a traditional developer would. And don't believe what we say as who we are. Look at the industry and the reviews about our product against our competitors and the others that are in the market. So we have the most satisfactory customers in the whole world. So this is from the analyst teams, and they So these are the big analysts in the world, like Forrester, Gartner, Ovum, G2 Crowd, all of those. If you go to buildwith.com and see what kind of technologies that the companies are using OutSystems to do, you will be able to see that. And here you can see that we have the most satisfactory customers in the world, and that's from the analysts' feedback. So this is like the trust radius for the enterprise world. And not only that, analysts also have published independent reports about the ROI for a company that has few billion of value in an organization, and what would be the eventual savings be in a 2 to 3 year period. And these are huge savings to an organization, right? So, and finally, what is that we do? We fulfill organization needs in 4 distinct categories, and these are the customer experience, that is the engagement layer. So companies have sometimes hundreds of products, right? So one of the talks that I recently attended for integration platform as a service talk said that companies on average has 30 plus or 70 plus integration points. And imagine trying to unify that information and create an engagement layer that you can actually get value out of and derive value out of. So that's something that we do really well. So which basically means that you can create new engagement layers to your end users, whether it's your internal user or to the end user, whether it's a mobile application, web application, or a chatbot, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have the workplace innovation for you to keep on innovating so that you do not get disrupted by the digital disruptors in the market. And then we have stories where companies have replaced their core legacy ERP and banking and other decaying system that have to be kept up with the market demands, right? So as a platform, we do 4 things very, very well. So on the left-hand side, on your left-hand side, you will see that the best thing that we do is the 4 layers of application capability, that is to create an engagement layer to connect with your end users. You can add additional business logic visually without having to write lines and lines of code. You can create full business processes that runs over a period of time. So this could be loan origination to claims handling to benefits management to whatever you can think of which requires a business process. It could be also recruitment. And it can also be things like inspection or completing a inspection of a very large building that goes from wiring to electronics to building a safety and elevator systems, all kinds of stuff, right? And then finally, you have the capability to implement your own data layer as well on OutSystems. On top of that, we can integrate with hundreds of existing systems out of the box. So we provide a app kind of a connectivity market, which is completely free of charge to our customers. All you have to do is bring your own keys from those suppliers. So for example, if you want to integrate Google Maps, it takes less than 5 minutes to your application, right? Or whether you want to move from one version of iPhone to the other. Our customers don't spend months doing that. They spend 5 minutes. They simply open the application, republish, and they're ready for the next generation of iOS. And finally, we also provide a DevOps system, so which means that your developer operations is fully integrated into the platform, so you don't have to spend expert skill sets to do that. And then at the end, you can deliver any kind of solution to any endpoint. And then we also, on top of all of that, we have more than 200 plus security compliances built into the platform. So even if you build the most trivial application that doesn't mean anything to you, it will come with security, scalability, robustness, as well as high performance as you require. And also the certification that we have proves to the fact that we manage those certifications. So we are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant, TSAX compliant for manufacturing, HIPAA compliant for most sensitive data in American healthcare system. It's managed using OutSystems as well. And when it comes to government, We have so many government stories across across UK as well as the world that utilizes OutSystems for city and council management and managing their workforce that is out there. So these are all utilizing not hundreds of developers. They are utilizing like maybe 5 or 6 developers. Worcestershire County Council is a great example where 6 developers managed to produce 63 plus citizen and internally facing application in less than a year. And they managed to save about 1.8 million in less than 12 months. When they had and so now they are using that saved money to be able to reinvest it back into the city, the community, to do some other stuff as well, and to keep innovating. And at Social Security, which is at the front there, so when they came to us, one of the big challenges for them was that they needed to build applications fast, and they needed to be able to fulfill the demands of the business very quickly, and reduce the complexity of building these applications quickly as well, right? And what is interesting is the comment from the Social Security itself, right? So when they started, a lot of customers start with OutSystems because I started with the company about 8.5 years ago, 8+ years ago nowadays. When I started, the world did not know, or UK did not know what low code was. So one of the big challenges was, how do we actually convince a customer to start with us? So the moment they started with us, they realized the flexibility, the agility, and the capability of the platform to keep delivering applications and solutions fast to the business. They not only started with one application, they started the journey with one application, but they ended up delivering 6 more. So, and this is all within a 1-year period, and these are constituents as citizen-facing as well as internal-facing applications. And some of those applications are here. So they go from consultations tools to understand the benefits as well as the disability payments, basically to the citizens that needs kind of evaluation whether you are entitled to get these payments or not. And then there is things like social protection, which is quite interesting. I thought that where care staff goes out to a very dangerous neighborhood or their lives are in jeopardy, they can now have a way to make sure that they are tagged so that they get further assistance, like maybe some physical protection as well as mental protection to be assisting them while they're going, appointment booking. So some of these are very basic solutions that you can think of, but those are mostly managed through Excels and information is lost, right? So whereas in OutSystems, you are able to kind of build those applications and bring all of that together in a very harmonious way so that you can derive insights out of your application data. And on top of all of that, we also have a thing called Insight, where Social Security staff can log in and connect to large number of government sources, from HMRC to Home Office, to understand a citizen's information, so that you don't have to go into multiple systems, create a workflow to be able to ask for permission to access certain government information. So these are access control that you provide as well. And then we also have a data sharing portal that they have implemented that will enable a third-party organization to tap into what the Social Security has as part of the organization to be able to access control the information that goes out. So you don't have to fill in boring forms to ask for some piece of information. They can use APIs and connectivity layer to connect to the application data that the Social Security will enable other organization to access. And one of the other interesting thing is also about the application capture. So this is the disability application capture from the individuals in Scotland. So basically they can apply online instead of manual paper processes that can create this. And this is also both citizen facing as well as internal organizational facing, which basically means that OutSystem applications can be controlled in a very a role and capability kind of a model, so that certain people, certain organizational roles will have only access to certain types of data, so that not everybody will be able to see everything that everybody have access to just because they have access to data. So we provide all these kind of layers as well. And finally, it is a thank you from me for staying with me.